Um, I don't see anything. It says waiting for Jacob Asper. Wait, maybe open another browser. Space can go.
Yeah, it's streaming now.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Let me just
You are
mute
echoing a
myself
little
here.
bit, by the way.
Okay, wait. Let me just. Okay, is it better?
You are much louder now. Try talking while I'm
Uh,
talking. Hello.
hello, hello,
Hello.
hello.
Okay, yeah, that's far
Hello.
better.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, getting into it, we are going to go over the loop section to the end of Bash and Practice for any questions anyone may have or anything we found interesting. So, Joy, have anything to get started with, or just go through it?
How did you find this part of the reading? Because for me, it was like kind of heavy.
Yeah, I felt like it was heavier
Um,
than the first part for sure, but it wasn't too bad, I don't think.
okay. So many of the exercises, I just like it felt like I need more time with them. Um, but um, like when I encounter, like I have this dilemma, which is like when I encounter something like this, it is like, should I wait and like try to figure out the whole thing by myself, or should I like use everything in my disposal to basically kind of just like look like get the solution to things? What about you? Like, how did you like approach um, all the exercises or the things that um, you're supposed to try out? I think.
I like to play around and figure it out because, like, that's kind of the point of the book. Like, you learn it the hard way. If you figure it out the harder way, it'll stick with you. But if you truly can't figure it out after like 10, 20 minutes, then I think it's perfectly fine to Google around and see where you're going.
Mm,
Just good to be able to dig around and find stuff without having to straight Google the answer. Like, for example, if you get really good at looking around in the man pages, you'll be it'll be far easier for you to find that stuff out. Or if you Google and someone has not had your exact problem, you can say, okay, I know I can look in the man page for Bash or the man page for Readline and find out what I'm supposed to do here.
I see. Okay. Also, like going through this section of the book, were you able to find like a way to edit like longer bash commands, like in case you like make a mistake? Sometimes they're like four, three, or multiple lines of like bash script that you not a script but like commands chain of commands that you have to like write. So in case you make a mistake, is there a way to like kind of just edit it um, in a better way? Like maybe open a mini editor or something. I don't know. But that felt like having to redo like the long chain of commands again and again. That kind of felt a little bit. I don't know. Thought about maybe is there a better way that you found or something?
I mean, you can move into a script if you'd like, but there's also, I know there's a few ways to go about that.
By the way, Jacob, can you like stream it on
Oh,
like the
yeah.
Discord?
Of course. Thank you for reminding me.
No, like I would like to see with like without much delay, like what's
Yep.
going on.
Understandable, of course. Is that look good? I think that's the wrong screen.
Yeah, that was your entire screen.
Oh, it was? Okay. I thought I was screaming the like you should be seeing the learn bash the hard way.
Yeah, now I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was streaming the incorrect screen. I know there is a way, but I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head. I know there's a few that will pull the command, your last command, into a file.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, that would be interesting if you can like move that whole thing into like a file and maybe edit something there and then get out of that file and basically like, you know, copy paste that whole command. Because yeah, it was a little bit like tough to move around there because I think the only arrow keys that were usable were the left and right arrow keys, like to move through that whole command, because it like the whole thing like, you know, becomes basically a single line and you cannot go up and down. um so yeah, like if you want to edit something at the very beginning of the whole thing, you either have to like do Control A to kind of just jump up there. But yeah, something in the middle, yeah, you have to like you have to just basically be relying. I had to rely on like the arrow keys left and right, and some commands were definitely longer.
I wonder if this would be. I guess we can try it out. Like you're saying, if I have some command here and I make a multi-line one, so like for example, okay, well that doesn't make it multi-line.
Yeah, something like, yeah, maybe a for loop. Yeah, definitely. Speaking of for loops, I know I'm just uh, like, what are C style loops? This is the first time I encountered even like something like that. So is it like the way in which you initiate everything? Is that what a C style loop is? Like the I is initiated, and then you put the delimiter, and then you do the increment. Is that what a C style loop is?
Yeah, it's like the let, or I guess that's the JavaScript way, but like you make an I, you have the condition, and then you do I++.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I don't. What is going on here? Am I just memorizing things that are in Emacs mode? Guy. Let's see. So ls. Oh no, that still doesn't do it. What if I do subshell? Okay, there we go. If I do ls. So you want to know, like, if I'm in here. Let me. Okay, is this better if I talk like this? Does it still cut out?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
No,
I
much
just
better.
need
Yeah.
to practice projecting my voice more because I talk quietly all the time. Amazing. Okay, so you're asking here, if I have this command, how can I go through and move up and down or move it into a file? Because this is multi-line, yeah?
Like, okay. So you did the multi-line thing. That's you opened a new shell. Um, like, did you get to this command by pressing the up arrow?
No. If I did that, it would look like... Wow. Okay, up arrow is not happy with me. Is it... What is going on? Okay.
I think you have to get out of the subshell because of you are in the subshell. That's why it's like behaving like that.
But I didn't even start the subshell. I don't know what's even going on. Maybe I don't know. Okay. I don't know why that's escaped, but we can always use our handy dandy create brand new shell skill issue time. Okay, so you're saying, like, if I have subshell like this, and I want to be able to edit the thing above it, rather than writing the same line above like this in the history.
Yeah, like, yeah, this is just one command, so it's like very easy to do. But like, in case it was like, just let's pretend it's like 4 or 5 lines long command, and yeah, I want to be able to like get to that and like kind of edit it. Like the one thing that you said about like, maybe putting that in a kind of a temp file or something and then editing it there and then like, getting out of that would be like really handy.
I know you can. I just can't think of it off the top of my head right now. There has to be some way to do that.
Mm. That could be a good thing to research on. Yeah, but like because the commands here like they were like multi-line, so that was like something I encountered. But yeah, it seems like if there is something like that, that would be really really cool.
Let's see if I remember this. So like, okay, we're in Vim mode.
Fly
We do
mode.
this, and if I go to normal mode and then press V, I go into Vim time. Oh, this is not Vim. This is Nano. Gross.
Nano.
Well, it turns out you can press V and we'll go to your default editor, which is apparently Nano. Can't believe it.
Oh, wait, what did you do again? Like, this looks like, yeah, this is what I basically want. I want it to be like, basically open an editor where I can like, just kind of edit the command and then get out of that while taking the edited command and then basically use that command.
I managed to close the entire terminal this way. Oh, and it's gone. Oh no, this is this, okay. Okay, so this time around I will make sure to use Vim instead of wow, I can't type. But for review, this will append to my bashrc file, which is then exporting my editor to be Vim, so I don't have to deal with that. And then I will then be able to source it, which will run in the same shell, and that will edit my current session. So let us see. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I should also do this so I can have Vim mode. But okay, so here we can start writing our command. So subshell, we go here. We're like, oh no, we're 3 lines down. So I can go into normal mode, press V, and now I'm in Vim. And I can edit my command here.
Mm.
And then I can say echo hi.
Yeah.
And close that, and it echoes everything out.
Oh wait, why did it echo everything out?
Because I wrote ls a bunch of times.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. So
I
that's
meant to be
a
an
way to do it,
attempter. Yeah, I mean, that's what a subshell does, right? Like if I do ls, it'll run ls twice. So if I do this, it will put everything that is printed to standard out right here. Or I can redirect
so you went to
this command.
normal mode and then you just pressed V.
Yes.
Okay.
And it seems like it's a escape C, escape V for Emacs mode. I don't know. But yes, you can pull it into your editor with whatever command that may be.
Okay. I haven't used like I know it would be like really good for navigation, but yeah, I haven't used like the Vim mode in Bash much. It's like usually set to Emacs, and I don't change it. But yeah, that was like super cool. Like you can do that. Yeah, that was like one of the things that I kind of thought maybe there must be something easier way to do it. But yeah, thanks for that.
I mean, the Vim mode's pretty similar to regular Vim mode. You just some of the commands don't work as you'd expect. It's not as fully featured, but you can like W to move words, capital W to move whole word, DD delete the whole line, and whatnot,
Mm-hmm. Mm,
which I
I see, I see,
find
I see.
more intuitive than I think it's usually like alt left and right to move words and things like that. So just preference.
Hmm.
But being modal
Okay,
is kind of
okay.
wacky because like I'm using um, K and J to move up here. So I also wonder, I'm not exactly sure if this will be the case. I'm sorry if whoever has to hear the bell. But if I am in something like this, can I go into normal mode and move up a line? And the answer is no, I can't. It's the same as in Emacs mode.
Hmm. Let's see.
Okay, that's cool to know. Yeah, I mean, some of this was in the Linux book we read too, which is where I'm aware of it from, but I've just forgotten those over time. I think there's also like some, is it like it pulls it into a file?
Hmm. I know we are like jumping ahead, but that reminded me of like, the set stuff, where you just like, you use the set stuff for other things. And remember when we were like doing the Linux book, we were basically like, there are like two ways to go in and out of like Vim mode. Like you can switch on the Vim mode, but that takes you out of the Emacs mode. And we kind of did that. So here I learned that the you can also like turn things on and off with the minus O and the plus O thing.
Hmm.
And did you try turning off Emacs and the Vim mode at the same time?
I have not actually tried that. I wonder if it would allow that, but that's what today is for anyway. Let me try the other thing while I'm at it, because like this will echo both things. I'm pretty sure it's FC.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah.
Nope. FC, does this exist at all? It does. So like if you run FC, it'll pull the last command you ran into an editor.
Oh, wait, what was that again? Sorry. Like, okay, okay, okay.
FC.
Can you repeat it? Just the command FC?
Yeah, so like let's say I do echo hi,
Hmm.
echo bye, and then I spelled one of them
Right.
wrong or something, who knows. I run FC, I have
Yeah.
echo hi, echo bye, and I say actually I wanted to run echo beans. And then if I write and quit, it now says hi and beans. So that's another way of doing it.
Oh. Okay, okay, and this doesn't need you to be in like Vim mode or something like that, right?
Nope, FC is just the command, but it'll open up your editor variable,
Default
which
editor.
I would like it to be Vim, but I just had never said it
Okay.
before, apparently. I have a bunch of stuff on this WSL instance that are like not set, but that's what I mean. I was just lazy and ran like last book. I'm pretty sure I ran set dash o or vi like 10 times instead of just putting it in my bash rc file. So I'm glad I just did that today.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is just FC. And it doesn't require anything else. You don't need to be in Vim mode like the previous one. You just have to like run FC, and it just automatically pulls the command into basically an editor, and then you can just do WQ in case of Vim, and that it's just like you basically are spitting out that thing into the terminal. So okay, this seems okay. This is much more easier to even remember than the previous thing.
I mean, V is not that. I mean, V is weird. I don't know why it's V, but it does work. But yeah, FC. But you have to have SC
Yeah.
on your system to do this, of course. And I guess you also might need some other. Your shell would have to support pulling it into a file. But yeah, FC does work. Let's see. FC
Mm.
have a help file for us. Yeah, we do. Okay. So we can display or execute commands from the history list. So dash E, you can pass it in editor. It'll go to editor, then VI if you don't have editor set. That's cool.
Okay, got it. Okay, I just checked even here, like FC is there by default. I don't think like this is a fresh install of like Ubuntu, so FC is there. But yeah, uh, the bad thing is that default editor is set to Nano for some reason, so which I need to change. Yeah.
Well, as some spaced repetition, I just ran that.
Uh, okay.
You remember, and it says it right here. What do you think we should do to fix that?
Oh, you just have to set your editor to your bash RC file, the editor variable to basically Vim.
Yeah, or you could set it per command.
So yeah, you can definitely do that with the command too. Yeah.
Yeah, and to look at it, let's look at my bash RC. If I could spell again. Why did I do 0 lines? I meant 2. But yeah, I ran both of these in my bash RC, and that gives me amazing Vim mode.
Tail there is basically your what is tail doing there?
It's grabbing the last 2 lines of the file,
Last few minutes of the files.
as
Okay,
opposed to if I ran cat
cat
or something, that would
just
be annoying and fill
and
up my
cat
whole
file. Yeah.
screen, which is fine, but I prefer tail. It's also very, very helpful for many times if you're looking through logs, because there's a follow mode.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll show what's happening as you write to it. And I use that all the time for, like, my work involves like 50 million log files, so I can tail star to grab every single file in a directory, in a log directory, and then watch every single one for changes that will then show up. Pretty fancy.
Yeah, it seems pretty handy too to be able to like look at this like the last updated thing in your logs as compared to like going through all like the entirety of your log.
I wonder if I still have it installed. Yeah, I wrote my own tail. And I called it Rail because I wrote it in Rust.
Mm. Is it like your custom tail or is it like wait, let me just try tail too.
I mean, it works the same way as tail. It's just written differently and supports far less features. Like, my help menu has bytes, lines, follow, and help, whereas tail has all of this stuff. You got all of the things to do.
Wait, if both are named tail, how does bash like kind of differentiates which one to run?
I named mine Rail, not tail.
Oh, rail. Okay. I didn't see it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, just to show, because the follow mode stuff is amazing. I guess I'll do it to a random file in here. Let's make a file called I. Sure. And then if I should use my own. Can't believe I'm using the built-in. What a scam. So if I run this one and follow hi, then, oh yeah, I forgot I did not implement that, but it'll show any new lines added to this file. So let's grab this and open up a new one. I'm so used to Control plus, but yeah, if I don't know, I'll append.
Just out of curiosity, is Rail part of any repo or something? Like, have you published it or something, or is it just on your local machine?
It's on GitHub. I don't think there's no
Oh,
reason to use it over the other. It was just fun to build. Okay, so like if
okay.
I open this up and run this. Okay, well I truncated my file. Wow, I was definitely working on this. So and another reason not to use it is because it prints all kinds of fun stuff. But it does work. I have debug mode on for some reason. Okay, but yeah, it prints out hello here. So then if you run the same with tail, then you'll see it says hello. Okay, then that was correct. I'm just looking at a different version of tail at work.
Hmm.
But yeah, it does the same
Oh,
thing
my
without
re
the wacky debug information that I threw in there.
I have never really like okay, by repo I meant like is it part of like in a uh, like a application like manager kind of thing? Like how can I like just get Rails if I do sudo apt get rail or something?
No, you have to compile from source because I did not add
Uh,
it to a package manager.
yeah, yeah, package manager. That's the word I was looking for.
Yep, I
Okay,
am not
okay. I have
publishing
to.
it anywhere. You'd have to install Rust and compile.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, got it.
But yeah, I think it was fun. Like I did it to practice some async Rust stuffs, which was like the follow mode, like how do you handle different events that happen and know when your file has been written to versus deleted versus modified and whatnot,
Hmm.
which is fun stuff. But yeah, to get back on topic, what were we even
Loops,
talking about? I forget.
loops, loops.
Oh yeah, that's we were sending the editor stuff. Okay, okay, okay. Understandable.
Yeah. Do you have anything for the loops?
I let's see. I don't think so. Like there's nothing much. Like I do have some stuff that's not a part of the thing though. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, like I saw when I was googling around Seek, which will print out
Mm-hmm.
1 through 10, which is very fancy for us if we want to write a for loop, because we could say for
Mm-hmm.
x in Seek 10 to be able to go over all of these.
Where did you come across a sec actually? Because I had no idea about that. There was like something in build like that, just to count from 1 to 10.
Well, I did the for loop right the first try. I'm very proud. I don't know, just googling around and looking at some code and saw this, which
Uh,
I much prefer to the C style loops that we mentioned. Like I think it's like I equals 0, I is less than 10. I guess this would not be exactly the same, but you know the deal. And then we would
what,
do.
okay, what's the difference between like if I have to ask between the C style loop and the one that you used before?
Ooh, this is not correct.
Oh, I think okay, okay. I think since you initiated the variable there, wait, no, 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 no. You're using I, not like X, so it should not do that. I don't know
Oh,
why.
oh yeah, that's because I set the other variable. You're correct. I'm just using the
Oh,
wrong
okay, okay.
variable. Yeah, amazing. I was like, what is going on here? But yeah, I was using an old variable.
Yeah,
What's the difference between them? There's
yeah. Like the C style
like
loop and the
same reason that you'd use anything else. Like for example, in let's say like JavaScript, if you're going
yeah,
to write the same thing, I guess JavaScript really
yeah.
doesn't have a fancy one, but like it's just more declarative and easier to understand if you have a range. Because for example, this is longer and a,
Mhm.
I mean there's more room for errors too. But if you take something like this it's you don't have to worry about it too much. You can't mess it up. Like there's not too much room for error, but there's a
So there's
slight
like
amount.
no difference in like functionality or what's going under the hood. It's like all the same.
I'm sure there's something different going on under the hood, but effectively they do the same thing, assuming we started the loop at the same value.
Hmm. Okay, out of curiosity, in case of JavaScript, is it like the same thing still? Or like maybe like, the for with the range and everything, it's like maybe somewhat different.
JavaScript wasn't a great example because it doesn't have ranges in the standard library. But
Yeah. Like no Python style stuff there.
yeah, if we took something like, for example, it's just a more declarative way of doing it. So like Rust has it, so we can do Rust. So like if I say for I in like 1 to 10,
Hmm.
I could do this. Or I could do something different and say, I guess Rust does not really have it, but I could say I is 0, and then while I is less than 10. Wow, I did different loops once again, but pretend I started them all at the same value. If I do this, wow, that is a huge tab. But doing this would be more or less the same, assuming these counted the correct amount and started at the same spot. But yeah, like one of these has more room for error because I manually have to create a variable and increment it. And if I forget to do that or do it wrong, then that's on me. It's just a less for the programmer to remember. But then again,
Mm-hmm.
if Seek is not on your system, then it'd probably be less
Yeah.
portable. Like it happens to be here on Ubuntu, but I don't know if it's on every single distro. So it'd probably be less portable than the for loop itself. But yeah, like think of things like if you do a map versus a for loop. If you decide
Mm.
that's far more declarative, and for reference, that would be something like doing JavaScript land. Yeah. So if we have something like this, we have an array like 10 and 10, and we want to create an array that doubles all of these things. We could say array 2 is this, and then from here we can loop over it. I is less than r dot length. R of I times 2. So this would be effectively the same, but there's some room for error. So what we could do is take this and get rid of some of this room for error by using some of those built-in constructs. So for example, here we would take this and say, instead of doing this for every single one, we could say for I in R, and now I don't have to handle incrementing this at all. It'll just loop over all of the indices. And I could take it
Mm.
another step forward and say, I want the element. And instead of this, it's that. And I don't even have to worry about using the index here. So it's just more convenient in those cases where you don't need that much control. And of course, if we take it another step forward, we could say, just take the array and map it. So there's less control in any of these, but if you're just trying to create a new array from an array, then
Mm-hmm.
this one is, in my opinion, I prefer it just because it's very clear what we're doing. And I don't have to worry about
Mm.
like maybe someone accidentally in their loop started it or like started at 1 or 2 or 3, or they do something other than
Mm.
I++.
Mm.
So just Yeah, that's the only difference there. Like they effectively do the same thing. I can't talk for how they work under the hood, but I prefer more declarative when I code. That makes
Okay,
sense.
okay. Yeah, yeah, it does, it does. Thank you for explaining and taking the time actually
Hmm.
to do that because I always wondered, was like basically why would anyone want to use like certain other things? Well, the very same thing does the same thing. I mean, a different thing does the same thing.
Yeah, it's effectively the same, and I make mistakes because I am human, and I would like to do the things that help me to make less mistakes.
Mm. Do you want to like move on?
Sure.
Mm. Okay, so there's like some not exercises, but examples with the sleep thing, and so it's
What
basically a
page?
clock. Oh wait, page page 54. Um,
So,
anywhere they use sleep.
right here. Okay. This.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like an internal clock that's like going on. Like, is it synchronized to your the clock, like the computer clock? Like that's where it's getting the data from,
Well, like, how are you
or is
asking
it
how is
just
sleep working?
um like because I try to mess around with it, I play with different values and stuff. To so sleep one is always like like 1 second thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have used that in other places too, like for starting up processes and stuff like that. So that's why I just like was curious about like um where it's like where does it well, like where from where like does it start like an internal thing like a timer with itself, or is it like synchronized to a clock or something?
Like, how does it know to stop at or like continue on to the next instruction after this process has finished?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know exactly how sleep works. I would expect something like that to be like shaky in terms of being truly accurate. Because I would guess it
Hmm.
just sleeps the thread for that much time, but we can find out pretty easily.
A delay for a specified amount of time.
Yeah, it does not say in here, but maybe we can find out on GNU.org. Well, that did not take me right there, but oh well. Okay, let's see. Sleep. Let's find out. It says pauses, but it tells the OS to suspend the execution of the current process for a specified amount of time. So it seems like in this case, what it does is it uses a syscall. Okay. Yeah, it more or less tells it to sleep the thread. Yeah, it sleeps either until the number of real-time seconds has elapsed or until a signal arrives. So it's
What
not
is it sleeping?
what is sleeping a thread?
Yeah, like okay, they're like the way we're using it in there. Like I got it when you were like using it with a process, but here like in the loop, it's basically Um, it's basically waiting um, for 1 second before the increment is like before the increment goes up by one. Well, I guess it's because it's sleeping for 1 second, and after that the increment goes up one. So that way, it's just like basically echoing that thing, which is like 1 second has passed, 2 second has passed, 3 second has passed. So
Yeah.
here, I think here, okay, so okay, correct me if I'm wrong. So it's basically telling the process here to basically stop for 1 second, like delay for like 1 second before you do the increment, then, right?
Yes, this is a blocking call. So it asks the OS, hey, can you pause the execution of this script for this much time? And once this has been done, schedule, just schedule some task. Tell the scheduler, after this point, I am ready to start again.
Okay, okay,
So it
okay, got
literally
it.
just blocks it stops the thread itself. It's an OS
Mm,
thread here.
mm.
So
Yeah, because
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, and then I was like, I understand it with the contextual processes, like it stops processes for like a certain amount of time. But yeah, I had like this is like you can like I guess you can just take it and like put it anywhere, and it's just gonna stop whatever's going on for that amount of time.
Yeah, well, in this case it's blocking it, so it does block the entire process. It will not continue until
Okay.
that time happens. I know there's some small difference between a process and a thread, but I can't think of it right now. Yeah, but if you want to know more about that, and I think it's a pretty fun thing to look into, is you could
Mm-hmm.
look into how exactly do operating systems schedule in the first place.
I think that's gonna be a very heavy topic, like connected to the like the clock thing and everything. So what do you think? Like from like I guess if you have to uh, kind of give me a little bit of a peek behind the curtains, I feel like you already know the answer to that, and that's why I'm asking you. So is it
Yeah,
gonna be like super complicated or something? Is it like tied to the CPU clock and all that kind of stuff?
it's extremely complicated, but and of course I don't know everything about it, but I can tell you some information about it. So,
Mhm.
you have some experience with it. Like I know you've looked into the JavaScript event loop, yeah?
Yeah.
So, it's a very similar concept here. So, in this case, we have some tasks that are running on an OS thread. I guess the first thing to
Mhm.
know is that the operating system will tell these threads, like it can stop the execution of a program if it so needs, rather than the process itself giving up the information or giving up the execution. So, but in this case, we are telling it, hey, I am done. Let me know and when some event comes back to tell me I'm done. So there's some timer somewhere that says, okay, I'm ready. So another use case we could think of is something like we take a network request, for example. So if you want to wait
Mhm.
until that network request comes back, because otherwise, the other way you could go about this is just polling. So you just loop over and over and be like, hey, what time is it? Has it been 1 second? Has it been 1 second? Over and over. But instead
Did
here,
you
go ahead.
can you repeat like what you said? Like no, did you just say polling?
Yes, polling. So
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, I'm not gonna say this in a very understandable way, I feel. I'm gonna try, but we'll find out how understandable it is. So more or less, like a different way, an alternative approach to doing this would be you take a while loop You get the system time. You then ask, hey, is this greater than 1 second? And if not,
Mm.
ask again and do that forever. But that can be wasteful. So in this case, what we do is we say, hey, we're going to sleep. We're going to stop doing anything. And we're going to tell the scheduler to come let me know when this thing is done and I can start up again. So the scheduler will instead pull and say, like, okay, we have all of these things running and this thing is ready and this thing isn't. So, um, for example, like with the network request, another one, you can't really do much if you don't have your data usually. So, in the case where we can't do anything, we just wait until that data comes back. So, in that case, the network card needs all that information. And once it gets it, it can then say, like, hey, here, your data is written right here, go read it. Or, like, we wrote the data that you asked for in this specific location, whatever the implementation happens to be. But more or less, long story short, it's waiting for some event to happen to let it know for the scheduler. And once that event has happened, it can start up the thread again. So in this case, it's some timer lets it know, like, okay, the timer says it's been 1 second, you can start again.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say it may not be entirely accurate is because if you have a lot of things going on your computer, then you cannot guarantee that this will return in exactly 1 second unless you're also grabbing the system time in between and making sure, because
Oh,
you're just guaranteeing that it's been at least 1 second.
oh, so it's like also vulnerable to, I guess, like, uh, sometimes things may just freeze because maybe like your computer is like struggling for resources. So it's like you're telling me like it's vulnerable to something like that.
Yeah, especially in those cases. But if you think about it, your computer's doing so many things all at once. So, for example, I'm my computer right now, it has the terminal open, it has OBS open, it has all of these things open. It has Discord
Yeah.
open. So it's not just running one program and that's it. They're all starting and stopping at any given time to give
But your
room for the
computer
CPU
has
to run it.
64 gigs of memory.
The memory does not help it run more things on the CPU, does it?
True.
So, like, yes, my CPU has multiple cores, but I cannot
Yes.
guarantee that each program has a core to itself. Even so,
Oh yeah,
like, it
that's
could be, but
yeah.
you never know.
Most programs are actually single, like even single threaded. Actually, they cannot take, I guess, like take advantage of like all the cores that are present in your CPU.
Yeah, so to end this one off, because it's a really complicated thing and I'm not sure how well I'm explaining. Long story short, your program says, hey, I can't do anything, so please, I'm gonna go take a nap and let me know once it's been 1 second. Then the scheduler will say, sure, I got you. And then once that has happened, it can then notify the program, like, hey, time's up. You can wake up now, get back to work. And it will start
Mm.
doing things again and repeat that on a loop.
Okay, okay. And no, I definitely got the part, like, that it's better, it's a better system than to, like, basically keep on going back to the system time and basically, getting your information from there and see if, like, is that, like, is it, like, the correct time to fire up the processor, keep the process stopped for that amount of time. So yeah, I got that part, definitely.
I wonder. Yeah, okay. So OS threads are stackful, or I don't know if stackful is the word, but they more or less what it's doing here is it saves the execution context, it saves the stack of that process that was running, and it saves it. to use later. And once it unsleeps, it will then continue from that point.
Okay.
So yeah, this is all complicated, and I was unprepared
Yeah.
to explain that one clearly. But
Well,
yeah, it's a tough
no,
concept.
you did a good job. Yeah, like I just before even hopping into the topic, I could kind of feel like yeah, it's a very complicated thing to get into, but you
Yeah,
did a good job with it.
it's worth thinking about. But otherwise, some food for thought for later is synchrony is in the eye of the beholder. So, for example, you could write a JavaScript program that seems single threaded, but maybe the runtime you're running it on. So, like, for example, you're running it in Node. You don't know what's happening under the hood there. Like, maybe it's doing asynchronous IO. And then from there, you don't know if what Node.js is doing from there. And then you go even deeper,
Mm.
and like Node.js has to use the OS level um, schedulers for OS, and then you don't know what's happening there, and you go further and
Mm.
further until like I don't know, like there's some sort of asynchrony throughout there, but we're not going to say JavaScript is running multi-threaded just because some other underlying thing is running multiple processes, multiple threads.
Mm.
So fun stuff.
Definitely. Uh, Something to look somewhat deeper into in future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I got from there, I learned from reading the a different book club, which was not recorded, but it was the asynchronous programming in Rust. I felt like that was pretty good to understand what was going on everywhere. So
Mm.
worth a shot, I think. Maybe it'll be tougher if you don't know Rust, but generally the concepts are very sound and apply everywhere.
Mm. Was it part of that? Like, I know we're like kind of digressing, but like, was it part of that book club where you actually did that? Made that operating system in Rust?
No, that was a different one. I believe that one
Okay,
does
okay.
get
No, because
into things like that, but
yeah. Since you were talking about like schedulers and whatnot, and how the OS like handles stuff with the processor. So yeah, like that's what like I thought like you got all your knowledge from making that operating system.
nope, not in that case. I didn't actually finish that one anyway, but in this case, like I would be working a layer above where we're talking now. So like
Mm-hmm.
you would have to uh I guess like you have some asynchronous runtime which handles your different state machines and whatnot to make it easier on you to write async code, but it's not at the OS level. Like it calls into it like makes syscalls and talks to the schedulers in the operating system themselves, but like that one thing said, a lot more it's a lot heavier to do OS threads, long story short. So they're not necessarily OS threads when you do things like that.
Mm,
So
okay.
complicated stuff, but good to look into sometime, I'd say.
Mm.
Yeah, anything else?
Moving on to okay, we are already on like set.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of understand what set options are. There's something called shopped, which I looked into like two or three other options for it. Um, but like I googled some of the stuff, but like so yeah, this is basically a set of different options, uh, which are I'm not sure how they're connected though, apart from them. Um, like set and shopped, set versus shopped, because those two are like not the same thing. So I don't know why they are even like compared to each other here. Um, because I feel like they manage both different things. But here, there's a line here on page 59 where it says like the set options are inherited or borrowed from other shells options. while these shopped ones mostly originated in Bash. Um, so does it mean like shopped is like Bash exclusive or something, or set is like using some of these stuff from like I guess like other shells? What does it mean by other shells?
It says inherited from other shells.
Yeah, page 59. Yeah, like the last paragraph. Uh, Set versus
So
shop.
yeah, I mean, some of them, like, it's not truly the case that it's like everything from one came from other shells and other things are only in Bash because there's some discrepancies, but I'm pretty sure there they mean like from the born shell, a lot of the options from set came from.
Okay, okay. Yeah, check some of the options, like I guess play it around a little bit because Globster is like not there in set. I couldn't find it at least. Um, there are some other things, but I'm not sure if they do the same thing as Globstar. But yeah, I felt like they are both different options. But maybe I'm like wrong. They are like kind of related to each other or something. Not sure though. But they're here, they're being compared to each other. So like I thought maybe they like they're like the maybe Shopped is a older version of something and Set is like basically the new way to do things or something. But it seems like they have different options, at least to me.
Yeah, set is a part of POSIX as far as I know, and shopped is not.
Hmm. Okay. POSIX is like basically a bunch of like standards specified, like specified standards, right?
Yeah, to make shells more or make your code more portable. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, Googling around, it says that set had so many options with single letter codes that it became difficult, so they introduced shopped to do them by name instead of by letter.
Okay.
And set originates from the Bourne shell as part of the POSIX standards, and shopped is bash specific. So yep,
So wait, so the Shopped has like the same options as like Set?
not necessarily. I don't think it
Hmm.
does.
Like, do they like? Okay, yeah. Looking at it, like I don't think it does too. But like, do they manage the same thing but have a different name for things like that, or do they manage completely different things? Because I felt like maybe they manage completely different things because they have the different names and everything.
I think it depends because they can write like they write to different environment variables, I believe. So I think it's like shell ops. So like yeah, here's what I did for my for set. Like this is from set shell ops.
Hmm.
So these are things that I have turned on. Like I just turned on VI, so it's at the end. And then there's also
Yeah.
bash ops, which is indeed from shops. So yeah, I think it's just that bash ops are not a part of the standard, but who
Wait,
knows?
what are okay? I know they're like giving you all the options that you have turned on or off, but I have not like where did you get those variables from? Shell ops and bash ops.
That's just where they write to. Like for example, if I
Okay,
do
okay.
set lesso, oh yeah, we never did that VI thing. Okay, so if I turn off VI and I
Yeah.
then echo why did this do this to me? Okay. So I echo this again, then you can see VI is gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. it also gives you all the options if you just do set dash O.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
Yeah,
where
so
this would
this
be
is this.
read from
Uh,
for commands that
but I
care.
wasn't aware of the. But I wasn't aware of the shell ops thing. Um, the one that the variable that you used actually. I had no idea about that.
I'm gonna try turning off VI. Maybe that's what's actually happening here. Um,
And also
set.
turn off Emacs too.
Oh, they're both off. Let's.
Okay, Emacs is off. Okay, that is also off.
Oh, I can't spell. So yeah, they're both off. So that's probably why this is shown. The up arrow is shown as the escape.
Mm.
So if I turn them both off, then they don't work. So that was a good exercise. And now I can press up and down and whatnot to go through my history.
Since you use this terminal inside Windows, like, are you using like the Windows terminal?
This is the Windows terminal, but I am using Ubuntu.
Okay,
The
okay.
terminal itself does not affect the shell. It's just displaying the content and letting me interact
Yeah,
with
but
it.
sometimes the few things can, the terminal can catch a few things before they can get interpreted by the shell.
True.
So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure in this case it's just because I had VI and Emacs off.
Hmm. There's an exercise here in the book.
Yep.
It's page 61. It uses that diff command.
61, you said.
Yeah, 61. Diff program, sorry.
Oh, 61. Yeah, I was on the wrong one. 61? Right here?
Yeah, 61. Wait, let me open. Yeah. So, is it possible for you to run this? Because I have one question. I don't know how to share my screen actually. Well, I cannot because my
Yeah, I
Linux
can just
machine is
run it.
actually.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's get this out. Okay, so you want me to run. So write. I guess I need to make the directory first. So make them. Yeah, I mean, I already have directories in here. Oh, no, I don't actually. So let's do it. So I'll make A and B and all of these B/U, B/3. And then look at these. Yep, exactly what we expect.
Yeah.
And I want to write this to A out and B out and then diff them.
Yeah.
I wrote about instead of A out. Wow, fun. Diff about and about.
Yeah. So like I tried to look it up, but like what's like 1D0 and 2A2? What are those things?
One is a part of A and not B, and 3 is a part of B and not A is what
B.
I would guess, but 2A2
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about like A and B. I mean, I kind of get it because this is what like we wrote into the file and everything. But yeah, like 1D0, I don't know what those like meant actually.
Yeah,
And I
because
kind of like pedantic to get stuck on things, but sometimes just just things like that just. But yeah, I thought like maybe you have more idea about things because
yeah,
definitely you.
I
use.
found that I didn't find a reason to do this with this command because diff for me is
Yeah.
actually does work on directories and it has a much nicer output here. Like you see that's far nicer to look at, right?
Oh
So
yeah, that makes way more sense.
I don't really know what the point of it for this command is. Maybe some versions of diff don't work the same way, but in this case,
Mhm.
I find it doesn't make sense to do what they're asking for. But yeah, that would be a good question to ask the man page. Hmm. Yeah, I wonder what it does mean. It is Google time. Oh, okay, this is what it's saying. It's saying
Yeah.
1D0 deleted one character at position 0, and we have then the original content contained 1, and this says it's adding 2 characters here, which is space 3.
Wait, what?
So like it deleted one character at position 0, and it added 2 characters at position 2, being new line and 3.
How's that related to one being only in A and B, and three being only in B?
Well, we take this one. This is 1 at character 0, so we delete this character, right? And then we add 2 characters to character 2.
To get three?
Yeah, so at here, like we take 1. Let me just do it
Yeah.
in Vim. That'll be easier. So we have this 1, 2. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
take
Yeah. Yeah.
line 1. We delete
Yeah.
one character at index 0. Index 0 is
Yeah.
this. We delete this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from here, we add, let's just keep this back. So like here is character 1, 0, sorry, 0.
Yeah.
The new line is
Yeah.
2, and then this is 3. Or no, actually, I don't think it counts as a character because this would be 0, 1, and 2. But yeah, it's not counting the new line, so it's deleting one character here. And then it adds 2 characters after this fact, which is 3. Which maybe it is the new lines. I'm not quite sure, but that's what it's saying. It's adding 2 characters at that point. So we could do this with something different, more fun. So we could say diff hello hi and just hello. Nope, this one's files. Can I just like send these over? Who knows? Well, I can write them to files real quick. I'll write to hello hi to C and hello to D. And if I diff C and D, it says it has changed one character at 1. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's confusing.
I'm confused, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I thought it meant, but we'll find out.
How did you get the thing where it says like diff and it gave you basically only in A1 and only in B3? How did you get that?
I just diffed the directory.
Uh, okay, sort of the files. Yeah, I think that's a better way to do it. much more readable.
Yeah, whenever I use diff, I just use git usually. I think it's this. So if I do cd, I do that. I've never actually used diff because I just use git.
Hmm.
Maybe it does mean lines here then. It's not one character. It says one changed one, something like that. But yeah, like I am also confused by what diff means, but just check out git and call it a day.
Get diff.
Yeah, git diff. You can git diff dash dash no index and it
Mm-hmm.
will diff two files for you.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
looks
Okay.
much
Okay.
prettier, right? Like that's pretty understandable, right?
Yeah, it is. There's a minus sign. What's the meaning of the minus sign and the plus sign?
Minus means that line has been removed, plus means it's been added.
Okay. Wait, did you remove any like things?
Well, that's the difference between them. To get to C from D, that means you have deleted
Oh.
this and added this.
Okay. 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 Yes. To get from C to D, you have to remove this and then add that. Okay.
There's no C. I thought it would be like there, like with blame, but maybe not. Let's see, is there any other fancy options for git diff over here?
No, that makes sense. Like, okay. So I know it's in that's how it works when you're like doing commits and stuff, um, or like when you're like looking at two different files in there. Okay, but here I just wanted to know. But yeah, so if you're like moving from C to D, it's going to remove that and add that. I'm gonna play around with it in case like D has something which C doesn't have. So where does the minus and the positive signs they appear?
Oh yeah, we can do that real
But yeah, I
quick
guess
too. So like if I have, like let's just make these the same, and then I have, I'm not in the other file. So you can see it says minus for any lines that don't exist in that file.
Proprio.
Hey,
okay,
stream.
okay.
We're going over the learn Bash the hard way sections we read. So feel free to ask any questions if you have any.
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just think of like any other kind of diff that you would do. Like if you see a diff view, like the old version is the, like if I flip these to D and C, it now says plus because I have now added, assuming that C is the new version.
Yeah.
And what does diff say for this? It says 1A, 2, 3.
1 and 2, comma 3.
So on line 1, it is added lines 2 and 3. That's interesting. I don't know what it means. I am confused, but I personally have never used diff. I just use git diff because git is on every system that I ever use, and it
Yeah.
looks much nicer.
Yeah, the colors.
I'm pretty
Also,
sure I could
the other
diff the
thing is
directories too. Like if I do
the
A and B.
directory stuff is like better also because it just tells you in plain English what is what.
Yeah, in this case, it considers these are renamed because they were exactly the same files because they're empty. But yep. But we can run this one too and see what it says because they said diff run LSA and LSB with the process substitution. And we get the same thing. So yeah, I think this is just a less fun way of doing this.
Hmm.
But can I just like type A like that? Nope, it runs it as a command. Echo. Ah, I can. Okay, so we could run git diff like this and say oh no, we can't. It's a named pipe. Hello 2. Yeah, we can. Okay. You can just make it use process substitution like that.
Hmm.
I don't know if I actually can compare strings like this, but we're gonna find out.
Speaking of process substitution,
Forgot I was using Vim mode.
let,
Oh, yeah, that does not work.
let me know.
Go ahead.
No, speaking of process substitution, so basically what, like, in case you want to feed something a file, you're basically feeding it the process that's equivalent to that file, right?
You're giving it the file descriptor, yes.
The file descriptor.
Yeah, like this is like see where it says named pipe. This is now a named pipe instead of a directory itself.
Okay. Okay. Can you run something for me?
Mm-hmm.
Echo $, like echo space $, and then the parentheses, ls ls inside the parentheses. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you run echo space start the caret, opening caret?
That.
Yeah. Process substitution, basically, parentheses and ls. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's the
So
file
how
descriptor.
that different? Okay.
This is just telling us this is file descriptor 63.
So ls is associated with that, like, file descriptor?
I mean, maybe. Running at this specific time is at least. I don't think it's guaranteed.
Okay. Okay, can you just like because okay, so can you go through like what's happening in this process substitution in this case?
Yeah, so in this case, you are straight echoing the file descriptor. And
What is the okay, go ahead,
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, what is that thing doing to ls basically? In the first one, I understand that the that's basically you're substituting whatever the whatever ls spits out, and that gets fed into echo. And the second one, like, what's going on when I like put that in parentheses, when I'm putting like ls in parentheses and like putting it into a basically process substitution, like what's happening to ls there?
Yeah, so in this case, like if we do run our favorite git diff, because it doesn't work with that. Like if I type in hi,
Yeah.
it's gonna, I guess I need to do hi as well. Hi to. It's gonna say it can't access this because it thinks it's a folder, which is understandable. So instead, I could make this a named pipe, and then it can act upon it correctly. So like this, it works because they're both named pipes now. And if I ran,
Wait, what happened here? Sorry, like just
if I run this, we also get 63.
okay. So 63 is not special to ls.
And here's 63 and 62.
Hmm. So what are these? Like I thought like file descriptors are like numbers from 0 to 3. Wait, 0 to 2, sorry.
Nope. There are, I mean, I think we can do /proc fd, or do I even need to do that? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Nope. Hold on a second. I'm gonna grab a list of all the file descriptors I have. Yeah, okay. So ls-l /proc $$/fd. I was close. Yeah, so we look here. We have this many file description tabs. We have 0, which is going to this current terminal session. 1, also going to this current terminal session. 2, also going to this terminal session. We understand that, but we also have 255 and 4.
Yeah.
So you can make your own file descriptors if you so choose. Like, you can make them anything arbitrary. It just happened to use 63 for that.
The next number, I guess. Yeah.
It might be reserved for name pipes. I don't know. But it could just be anything. I don't think it's anything specific. It could be. I'm not quite sure. But they're assigned however you so choose. So like, for example, if I say I want to echo hi, I can then echo hi to file descriptor like 43. And that's a bad file descriptor because I don't have this file descriptor. But I could say file descriptor 43. 43 is going to, let's say, hi. Say hi.js for fun. Oh no. Yeah, I have to do no spaces. So now 43 goes to hi.js. So if I echo hi like this, it still says 43 is bad. Oh.
I didn't add it.
I have to
No, I did
remember
not
how to...
know that you can have a number of file descriptors. I thought like those are kind of just set, like, the input line, the output, the standard out, standard in, and the error channel.
Maybe I have to flip it the other way because I was writing in and out. So yeah, let's see if we can say... Oh yeah, I didn't do it for every single one, but we can do echo hi, which will send standard out to 43, but I didn't have anything going to 43. But we could say that here. So let's say standard out goes to, or no, we could say that 43 goes to hi.js, and then this goes to 43. Yeah, there we go. And hi.js, let's cat it out, has hi in it. So you're allowed to make whatever arbitrary file descriptors you can. You could make them persist if you so choose. I just forgot how to do that in the current moment. But yeah, you can do whatever you want. You can make whatever you would like as a file descriptor. You can name them strings to whatever you want to do.
Okay. So there, it's basically making, like, the process substitution is like turning that whole thing into basically a file?
Yeah, it's a file descriptor for things that work on file descriptors and not strings, and you can't point them to standard in and whatnot.
For this purposes, like, it's basically, can we say it as a file, or still, like, I'm being very grossly wrong here. When you say file descriptors, like, you ran a command a while ago. Can you go up there with like the diff thing, but with the with the process substitution. Um,
This one.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so get diff here does
Yeah.
work on named pipes, but it does not work if you just hand it strings. So in this case, this does work. And we need to pass it 2 things instead of 1, so I'm pretty sure if we pipe something to get diff, it would not work.
These are named pipes. Echo high. I mean, these got turned into named pipes.
Yep.
Okay, and what are named pipes?
That's a good question.
I can Google it, but since you're here.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about a good
Better than
way to
Google.
describe it. It's like, so like, you know, the pipes we do, like regular pipes. So like we can say echo high, pipe that to grep, and say,
Yeah.
grep, here you go. We can, these ones are not going to persist.
Yeah.
And if you make a named pipe, it will persist. Like in the case where we're using them for the file descriptors, they're kind of here, but I'm pretty sure there's like, is it like create FIFO? I don't know. There's something to create a named pipe. Is it make FIFO?
Okay.
Make FIFO? Because they're also named FIFO. We could say cool pipe. Now I have a cool pipe. And we can see maybe this is available to us. Nah, not in here. But I can now send stuff to my cool pipe. So I could say echo rest is a must and ship that over to my pipe. And it will hang because I forget why exactly.
Or do you have to like send it to the file descriptor of cool pipe?
Well, it writes to it, and then I think I could open a new terminal and read from it. Cool pipe? Yeah. So
okay.
the pipe is here and is taking from this. Oh, I guess once it gives away the information, then it ends. This is one that I have not used too much of, but I never find myself making a pipe like this, but yeah, more or less it persists and you can write to things like that and they are named as implied instead of being anonymous. And I'm pretty sure this lasts per like through sessions.
Until you shut down your machine?
Yeah, I think it lasts between sessions because like these were 2 separate sessions.
Oh, you mean like okay, okay, for the batch processes.
Okay, I made the gamer pipe and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's in here. So we could see this one's is of type PR for I'm pretty sure that's just a named pipe. I don't know why that's called PR.
Okay.
I think the other way to do it was like with exec, maybe. So you could say 43 is going to hi.js. And does that do that forever? Let's find out. Echo to, I guess I shouldn't say hi.js, I should say goes to 3. And then we can cat out hi.js and it has the thing in there. That's how you do it. You do it with exec. But yeah, this should show up in our beautiful list of file descriptors now. So I have 43. And 43 goes from 43 to this temp folder hi.js.
That's crazy. I had no
Wacky.
idea that you can have multiple like stuff like that.
Yeah, there aren't just 3. You can make as many as you'd like.
Mm,
I'm sure there's some limit to it, but if you so chose, you could make a bunch of them, which is helpful, of course, if you don't want to make a file in between.
I see.
Was that helpful or more confusing now?
Well, I did learn a couple of cool things, so
I
that was
learned
definitely helpful.
all of that from that one article that we talked about last time, which was the Bash one-liners article.
Is Bash one-liners article? Is it?
Yep.
Is the one?
So, Bash one-liners 3. Great. So yeah, it was in here. So once again, cool stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, like look at
it was that
this.
article only.
Yeah, I found out this article is kind of
Uh,
messed up too, because there's some weird stuff going on in some of it, because it has HTML entities instead of some other things. But yeah, pretty fancy.
mm,
That's where I found out the information. Like for example, here they're using file descriptor 60 and various other things. But yeah. Any other questions on this stuff?
uh, this stuff hasn't. Like, do you want to like move forward?
Oh, I mean, like, I'm fine with keep talking about this if you want. I guess another way to think about it
Uh,
is a lot of the stuff you can do with a pipe, you can do with the
yeah,
the process substitution. So for example, we have some files here. We have hi.js now.
yeah.
We look at hi.js.
That's like how it. Yeah, that's how it made sense to me. Like basically, in my head, like it's basically, you have like a. That's what you're like doing. You basically kind of have a pseudo file or something.
Mm-hmm. So I could run this and we get hi, but I could also do this, which tries to run hi.js, of course. But if I echo this, we see this, or I could. Can I run ls in here? Will that work? We'll find out. Yeah, running it on ls will find all the files with hi in the name,
Mm.
which I feel like I probably could have done the same way. Huh? Nope, that didn't work. Yeah, who knows? But in this case, I don't think it's that helpful. Was it like this? I wonder. But yeah, like the reasons you'd use these are if, like, for example, for get diff, there's not really a way to. We could probably pipe something to it, but there's no way to give it multiple inputs with one pipe,
Mm.
or at least easily. I'm sure there's some magic way to do it. And then other times we have programs that don't. They want input files and don't read from standard N. In that case, this is also helpful because you can take something from standard N and make it act like a file, essentially. And yeah, and we could have made our own file or done that. So like echo, is that an example of it? Like echo does not take anything from standard N. If I say echo hi, pipe echo, we get nothing. I don't think it would.
Mm.
It takes files though, which is unhelpful for our case. Does ls take stuff? I wonder. It does. not. It just ignores it. So yeah, this one doesn't take anything from standard N. So we could do something like ls ls. Oh no, that doesn't work either. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about here apparently. I can think of some example some other time. I think I had a good article open. Let's see. Yeah, here. I like this one. Do they have anything in here? Maybe not. Oh well, we'll come back to it if I remember what exactly it was. But I'd found the use cases in here were not particularly like they didn't make too much sense to me because you could do the things in a simpler way. Like for diff, it worked, and for other things, the utilities just kind of have flags that make it work. But if you do need a program that needs a file, you can either create a file and do that or run it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I know we discussed this. There's another section on the book actually, which is further further away from here. But anyways, like on page 67, I think that's where I found a typo, which is
Oh, okay.
that the end should not be in quotes because it just doesn't allow it to end the thing. Wait, what is it called? Let me just check it again because there's a section for it after this. What is it called?
Oh well, I think it doesn't matter too much. We can get
Oh,
into
the
it.
here documents. The here documents.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So like here. Is that what you're talking about?
Wait. No, at the very end. The very end. Now you need the quotes there, but like at the very end, end should just be end. It should not be quotes end. It just should be end.
That doesn't work?
The quoted end actually doesn't work. At least I couldn't
Let's find
get it
out.
to work actually. Yeah.
I equals hello.
And
then
before I'm super wrong.
so they're I have to think of what it does again. They're taking this, they're catting out
I just think of this whole thing as it's in the next section actually. Not next, no, next section actually. But here documents. I think of it as basically as just a place to write as something without using an editor. That's what I thought of this whole thing as. If you don't want to write use your editor to just put some multiple lines of commands down or write a script or something. That's what I thought of this whole thing as.
this writes it to the file, right? Like this would say, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter.
I think you have to cat it.
I guess we'll find out.
Okay. Yeah,
So
it
you're
keeps you
saying I have
there.
to do end. So
Yeah.
echoes SSH command not found.
I think you have to. Yeah, the
create
end
it.
actually. There. Yeah, that's the keyword. that first one can be in brackets, but these not brackets, sorry, the quotes, but the last end cannot be in quotes.
So I have to run cat like this, and that prints out the file.
Yeah, that's going to set up the file. Now, if you run like ls, it's going to give you the file.
That's weird to me. I guess I have to think about it. So we're first taking cat, taking the standard out.
Oh, as I said, like, I just stopped even trying to make sense of what it means and everything, because the next section, like, they do discuss, like, go through this whole thing, because even at first, like, even I was like, what is this method of creating a new file? But yeah, they do go through it in the next section. But yeah, I think of this whole thing as basically, if you don't want to open your editor and just want to make a file with, like, while being in the terminal, and you want to just make it like a script or something, or any file, I guess. Yeah, this is a handy way to do this. But given you like to actually break things down and understand them, yeah, I think it would be a good idea to like try to like break things down and like see what's happening, and then you get to like play around with more things, I guess.
Yeah. From what I see, it takes our file descriptor, takes our standard out of this file and puts in the standard in of that. So we first take 0. Well, yeah, goes to echoes.sh, and then we take the standard in the here doc,
Or whatever you're gonna type.
and it points it to the in of echoes. I mean, what would happen if I did?
Sorry about that. My mic just.
Yeah, the file descriptor things mess me up if I can't think about them well enough. So yeah, we're taking the output of cat, putting it in the input of echoes sh, and then the same input of echoes sh has this. I just don't know why exactly cat is needed, or what it does. Like, yeah, why do we need cat in the first place? So if I delete cat, and I guess I should write something else here. So like something like that. And then we look at echoes sh. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I think you need cat.
Every time I read things, I'm like, wow, I really don't understand the thing. Yeah, so I do need the cat. I mean, it does make an empty file. It truncates the file if I do that. But I could flip these in different orders if I so chose. Yeah, so we take the output of cat. If I just run cat, nothing. Oh well, I think we'll try to figure that out sometime later because I'm not quite following this one.
Yeah. Yeah, like this section of the book was actually a little Yeah, there are like a lot of exercises that just kind of just trumped me, and uh, some of them are actually can be like very lengthy, as in like going through the whole bash history and see what, I guess like even like trying to optimize, let's just say like 10 commands. Yeah, that can be like a lot. Um, so another thing I like, was interesting to me was like the subshells are actually different from like all the, new bash processes that you actually fire up when you just type bash. So that was like interesting. And there's like actually a bash variable, sorry, shell variable,
Mm-hmm.
um, that kind like if you just fire a bash process, it's not gonna change it. But if you like start a subshell, that's gonna change it. So that was interesting because before I thought when you like type bash in bash, it's like you're opening a new process. It's like a child process, if that makes sense. But I don't think it's a child process. There's no such thing as parent shell. It just starts a different process. But yes, but a subshell is actually a child process, a true child process.
Okay, that's how that works. So the cat part is
Yeah,
at the front.
yeah.
Why exactly? Good question. But yeah, oh, did I write that? What did I exactly write? Oh yeah, okay, so here, this part here.
Jacob,
Oh,
you're kind of breaking.
oh, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, much better.
Sorry. Okay, so here,
Yeah,
echoes.sh takes an empty
yeah,
file. Like it makes an empty file. And
yeah,
then they run cat afterwards
yeah, yeah.
and take this and stick it in there. So we make an empty file, we point the output standard out to echoes.sh, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Mm-hmm.
output of this command goes into that file. So if I run just
I see, I see, I see, I see.
this,
It's gonna give you the thing
like
on your
cat just
prompt.
writes it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, more or less we point file descriptor, or yeah, we take standard out and put it into this file. And then we take the like this string and throw it in here
Mm-hmm.
into the cat command,
Yeah,
which treats this as
yeah.
a file, more or less, I'm guessing. Unless I can just write cat hello, hi, hello.
Remember
Yeah, it
you
doesn't
messing
work.
around with the, that like this stuff where like there are like so many weird ways to just use cat, as you can just like put the word wherever.
Yeah,
Uh,
we can move around wherever
yeah,
this happens. It doesn't
yeah,
matter
yeah,
because
yeah,
they don't conflict.
yeah, yeah.
So they just
That
wrote
came in so
cat
handy here.
before for some reason, but
Yeah,
it ultimately doesn't
yeah.
matter. Like we could write this at the end too, if we so chose. But
Wow.
yeah, weird stuff. Okay, what were you saying before?
No, no, no. What was I saying? Yeah, subshells. Yeah. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
great for like for you to figure this out, because I couldn't like even make sense of this thing, and I kind of just gave up, and it was like, well, this is just creating a new file, and that's all I need to know. But this is like super cool to see.
Yeah, we could write it on
Like
probably.
this is what like happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just have to remember to follow where everything's pointing. So yeah, standard out goes to echoes sh, and then you take the n to go into the standard in of cat, and then
Yeah.
the standard out of cat goes and points at echoes sh. So I'm sure it's just an idiom to
Mm-hmm.
memorize, but following it is always weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um. Also
Yeah,
found the difference between /r and /n, but now I understand it. So
carriage return and
that's
new line.
yeah, new line. Yeah, I think in Linux it's the same. Um, it says it's the same, but though I did run /r and and they do act differently.
I don't think they are the same, just that in Windows land, you need both because a new line does not mean that it goes to the start of the line, but in Linux it does, so you don't need both.
Oh, wait. No, new line just kind of like put it in the next line though. And the r slash just put the cursor in front of, like, before the line, before where you can just modify stuff.
Yeah, so in Linux, the new line does both. So you
Oh,
don't
yeah,
need
yeah, yeah,
both,
yeah.
but if you just do a carriage return, I don't believe it will create a new line for you.
Yeah, yeah. There's an example there where it's just like, like echo, uh, you can like type it out, like echo. Um, bad magazine, bad space magazine,
Like that?
and then /r, the other slash. Yeah, and mad, mad, mad.
Like this or the
No. The you had the right slash. Yeah. You had the correct slash. Yeah.
it feels odd to me.
Uh,
I'm sure this is right, but it
yeah,
feels weird. I forget.
yeah.
Okay, so backslash R.
Yeah, mad.
Mm-hmm.
Press enter. Huh. It did not change anything. Wait, if I'm the right thing.
I escaped an R.
Oh, it caused it to escape.
Yeah, it escaped the R. Not this, right? No.
Where is it? The prompt, the
I
terminal
think
stuff.
it's because I don't have the right flags
Oh,
for it to work.
oops. I'm just not a great person. Yeah, you have to like put it inside like the the $sign and quotes, single quotes, before you do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is like, this is where like the r/r, like the carriage return, it goes to the beginning of the line and just basically changes that into mad. And if you like, it can go on and it will change it to something else too. But yeah, that was like new to me. Whereas if you do the /n, it's going to like, go below one line below and basically add the thing and not change anything.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, much of this was also just like me following stuff and then trying to understand stuff. But yeah, I didn't get to like play around much with it. So I just followed through.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that's cool too.
finally, you can.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually took your advice of just like, going through something. I don't have to like understand every single detail and everything. Just like, it's basically a first pass through things. And I'll get to make multiple passes in the future. So that was helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, the PS1 variable, you can make your the bash prompt super cool. What's
Yeah.
your bash prompt?
Mine is the directory I'm in, and then I also, if it exists, I have the git branch.
Okay. Did you like change it with PS1, the variable?
I don't think so.
Uh, No, I thought you will play around with it. I thought because I don't know, seems like something that you will play around with
I think it's in
and
like
have a
prompt, but maybe not. Yeah, I have prompt command, which is including the PS1.
hmm. Okay. There's a PS2, a PS3, and a PS4 too, which I had no idea about.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah. I don't think there's a PlayStation 5 though. Unfortunate. Oh, I had a question.
Mhm.
Last time you showed me how to it was like associated with like the PS processes. Um, Basically when you run the PS thing, to get a very tabular looking view. Was that only for PS stuff, or can you do that for other stuff too?
Like
Like,
this?
was it piped to something else? Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but like you showed me a way to make things look very tabular and like just super readable. It was associated with PS, and I was asking you about
I'd
the
like
consecutive
do this.
bash shells you open. Oh, did you pipe it to like PS?
Yeah. If that's what
Okay.
you're asking, yeah, then that's just the output of piping to grep.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try one more time because we have an actual command now. If I do yes, it doesn't like that. But if I do file descriptor for PS, yeah. Okay, so there's one reason, one way you could use this, but I think piping is nicer even so. So we could either write this to a file, pipe it, or use the process substitution.
Process variation.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me it was not related to this though, but
Oh yeah, I was
I'm
just doing it
forgetting.
for practice because I was confused before, or like I want to get some more practice with it.
No, not the other thing, the grep thing, which is what was the context? Oh yeah, I opened a bunch of remember I opened a bunch of um batch processes as I was going through a command. Like you asked me basically, try to open like a bash process in the middle of something, and then it gave me then you like run PS on like in the middle, and it gives you like a you know kind of all the bash processes that's just are online right now, and that thing came out to be not looking so great. And then I'm not sure if you put it through something, but that was like really tabular. I'm not sure if you put it through grep though. I don't think that
You're
you did.
asking for this.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, you found it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
quotes.
Oh yes, the quotes. The quotes. Okay. So what are the quotes doing again?
I don't know why that works, but it does.
Okay, I'm just gonna because there were some going through the exercises there were like some things that came out like it spit out where I really could have helped like a tabular good view. So maybe like I'm gonna check if that works.
I think it's maybe because we need like the quotes allow new lines. So like if I say no,
I think you have to like put a dollar sign to use those things. I'm not sure though. Oh yeah, literals would also work probably.
I mean we'll find out. Like this is on yeah, this puts it on more than one line. And if I get rid of this, it's all in one line.
Mm.
Why is that? I don't know. That's a good question. It just works like that. It might just be one of those things where it's like, this is what it does. it does the new lines with it and it doesn't without.
Yeah. Another thing, since we are on this thing, another thing is the IFS thing, which is, I forgot what its full format, but it's the one that ignores spaces and no, not sorry. It takes into account
IFS.
if there's a, yeah, the IFS thing. I changed it to not have spaces, actually, because well, the book asked me to.
Uh-huh.
But
And
yeah, but how much is gonna break Bash if you change um, shouldn't the default should be just like the for it to ignore spaces?
that's a good
I,
question.
I,
I'm sure it's something to do with just that's what, like, sometime in the past someone thought it was a good idea and it just was. And then there's some times where it can cause issues, like if you have spaces in your file names.
hmm. Yeah, no, the thing is, okay, yes, okay, sorry. Yeah, the reason I asked you this is because you also work on Windows, where because on most Linux systems, and by convention, you're not supposed to like name something um, which has got spaces, but like Windows has file systems where uh, so many of them just have spaces in them. For example, if I just open my Windows PC, it's like 3D objects. There's a space between them. Quick access, that is space between them. So yeah, like I thought that's kind of like a thing. Maybe for Windows, you may want to like turn it off, and on Linux. But I'm not sure how much you encountered any issues with it. And I know that you just kind of keep things separate. So not even sure how much relevant the problem is for you.
I can't say I have, but I didn't spend, like, I spend most of my time in WSL anyway. I figure there's some similar thing with it because when I have done it, I need to either escape the spaces or put it in quotes the same
Yeah.
way, but I don't know if that was in PowerShell or within Bash.
Yeah. Okay, that's like basically concludes all the stuff I had because yeah, the exercises were definitely hefty, and I need more time to I guess go through them. And I could have like just asked to like basically Google stuff, but I just felt like maybe I want to spend some time with them just to think them through them. Um, but yeah, what about you? Like, do you have anything else like interesting things that you want to discuss or talk about?
I mean, I thought a few things were cool, like the subshell that we talked about. I think I did that for a little bit, but like saying like making a subshell and then echoing like hi
Mm-hmm.
and then pointing that to like, I don't know why I keep saying .js, but like throwing stuff in there. It'll throw
Yeah,
everything in there, which is pretty fancy.
yeah. Can you just like press tab,
I just did
press tab twice? Okay. Can you open like shove shell? Just open it.
like this, or no, you mean
Uh,
this?
yeah, subshell. Yeah, and now press tab.
It does the same, but no bell.
Okay.
Doesn't
I
do
guess it's
anything.
okay. Well, I guess this is maybe I don't know if it's a system issue or something, or yeah, it's supposed to give you all the like the display all possibilities that like the read line thing, but that's not happening. I guess you are on a different system. That
Oh, it worked. It was just
oh
really slow.
oh wait, like it actually worked, or will you just like press something else?
Oh no, I just waited and it made the bell noise and showed this after multiple seconds, so it was just slow.
Damn, why is it that slow? That took ages actually.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like it's supposed to be like 2 seconds, like not even 2 seconds, like instant almost. Damn.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, I can just press N here and get out of here because I'm not sure if you press Y, then how much time it's going to take to display all the possibilities.
12 years. Bookmarks, here we go. Yeah, let's see what else there was. But I thought that was really fancy, especially for doing something like if I were to say CDA, then LS, and then do something in there. Like that's pretty fancy just to be able to do, and I don't move to a different folder, especially for scripting. That sounds fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we talked about this. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense to me. Like, spaces make a lot of sense because that's what you'll typically be typing on the command line. Like, if they made it, you have to type a tab and a new line for every single one, that would be really annoying for file separators.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to me. It's just you're allowed to put pretty much whatever character you want in a file. So, fair enough. Okay, the other ones we got. Oh, here docs? Oh yeah, here docs were in here.
Yeah, that's where, like, I just took the whole thing as basically, hey, do you want to make a file, but you don't want to open your editor? Here we go, do this. But but you actually figured it out what's like going on in there, so that was like pretty impressive.
Yeah, how can I just not know?
Yeah,
And then there's some
I mean, that's
fancy
your
history stuff
inner.
I saw too. I don't remember what they were, but like using the same argument as before, it was fancy. I'll have to go through this again, but there's some cool stuff. And then otherwise, they mentioned to like look through some stuff. I did some stuff. Like for example, they asked like one of the exercises was look at GetOps,
Yeah.
and I just looked on
Oh,
GitHub
you
for stuff with
actually.
GitOps to see what
Yeah.
was there. So yeah, it said to go through this one. So yeah, pretty fancy. Like I found like the T colon means that the short option is T and it expects an argument. And
Mm-hmm.
if there's nothing after, it expects no argument. And if there's
Mm-hmm.
2 colons, it's optional. And I also thought it was really cool that there is OR patterns in here, which I love in every language that has them. So more or less, this
The word
one's
patterns.
OR patterns like that. This or that in a like a switch or anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Can you like zoom into your screen a little bit?
Yeah, is that
Oh,
good?
thank you, thank you, thank you.
I thought I zoomed in enough, but apparently not. Yeah, so OR patterns like
Okay.
this.
Uh.
So it'll match if it's T or target, which is very nice. I like it. I'm only sad when I have to write the same thing twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, this more or less just loops through this whole thing until it runs out of arguments, and it will break, which is pretty fancy. It's cool to see that because like the command line I showed way back for Rail, I built that with Flat, which works differently, but it is pretty cool to know this stuff is just built in.
Mm.
I also looked into some other stuff where they're using the process thingy thing. And I'm not gonna lie, these are all like weird stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time, like for me to get at least like accustomed to like all this stuff. Not gonna happen, in a week definitely. Um, but yeah, I basically took your advice of like things just being a first pass that I don't really need to understand everything. Helps
Yeah.
when just like getting through the stuff. Yeah.
This is batch specific stuff too. I'll probably ask around some people that I know that use like I know are pretty good at shell scripting and see if they've used it or not. Not to say, of course, that
Mhm.
this is something you shouldn't use, but if it's less important, then I won't really worry about it because I haven't run into situations where I do need this. Like I very rarely write a file like that. Most of the tools that I use allow for anything that I would like to write. Just working
Mhm.
with, like, for example, we looked at diff and that worked fine with directories. And then tar also works fine, and they even mentioned that.
Mhm.
So what was the size for? Oh yeah, look at your history, figure stuff out, and okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for here as well.
Mhm.
Any final thoughts?
Mm, definitely a meteor section to go through. I learned some cool stuff. Um, but yeah, I need some more time for me to digest like things and like do more stuff actually. And yeah, I actually learned a lot from you also today. From the top of my head, the SC thing, and also making sense of like what's going on with the file descriptors, and the at the end like the cat thing. Yeah, so it was like cool to know all this.
Yeah, this time around I didn't take enough or take the time to go through all of the exercises like before, so I would have gotten further because I was reading it away from this computer, so I wasn't able to run all the exercises because I was using Bash that was not a true Bash. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, these are mostly I'm in it for like what I mentioned to you. If I see
Yeah.
this stuff, I know what it does, and that's okay. And then I can figure it out
Hmm.
and use it if I do need it.
Hmm. We can decide upon definitely the next week's reading, and
Yeah, I
go
mean,
from
I
there.
think it's still good to go over what we mentioned before. So go over part 4 all the way to the end.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
I'm pretty sure I read the whole thing already, which is why I was like not saying things that I read the rest of the book. Maybe I'll go through some of these exercises and we'll talk about them, or we'll see. But yeah, for next time, we're just gonna read through all of part 4 to the end and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for coming, and I'll see y'all next time.